What up? What up? Welcome in everybody to another episode of Profit Picks. We do always start the show by being transparent, and yesterday was a terrible, terrible day for me. I went 4-8 overall, so have to do a lot better than that. Veno, it's nice to be back with you. Hopefully, you did better than me yesterday. And how you feeling today?
Well, I'm feeling all right, but I didn't do much better than you. I had a 1-2. I had Montana State in the game against Grambling State. Did not work out. Montana State looked good for most part, then loses in overtime. And also had Phoenix team total over 115 and a half, hit 115. Not good. The only thing I did right yesterday, Skee, was I was proactive with the Memphis Grizzlies and having Desmond Bain back, and I thought that game would go over, and it did. So 1-2 for me. Look to do a little bit better here. Big college board today.
Yes, and it'll be like that tomorrow as well. Vino, did you do a show earlier?
I did not. Oh, this is
Okay.
light orange, by the way. Orange is well. That's a lot. I don't know if we put light and Nick's orange. I forget what the list says, Ski, but orange could be good enough. There's two different color oranges though.
We'll go with orange. And I forgot to remind everybody that we are gonna up the thing. So I'm not gonna up it today. It'll be the regular, just buy you lunch. And tomorrow, Rob, did you still if you still come on tomorrow, we'll do it for tomorrow.
You got it. You got it.
Boofer says not orange, it's probably
Peaches. Boofer. Break my
all right,
balls.
let's get to it. We got what 22 minutes and try to touch as many games as we can.
Mhm.
So JD Mallory, don't forget to hit me up and send me like your cash app or something. So I can buy you lunch for the day. All right, let's get to it, Rob. One game did just tip off. We'll skip that one and move over to next up. Looks like Long Beach State and Arizona opened up Arizona minus 20 and a half. Looks like 20 currently. Total open 159 and a half, and it's up 4 points to 163 and a half. Majority of these games, I'm gonna kick it to you and while I look up information and cap the capper. But for this one, I do know a little bit about both of these teams. Long Beach State, one thing they do is play with pace. They might not have the best shooters over there this year, but they're definitely going to play fast. And same can be said for Arizona. So, I mean, I can understand why the total is being pushed up. Is that the direction you would like to play this game or look to play this game?
Well, it's probably the only direction. The one thing that could hurt you, Ski, is if, it's a 20 and a half point number here. And if it is excessive at the end, Arizona may pump the brakes knowing that they have a game Saturday. And all of a sudden, you get backups who can't make a hoop. So that could come into play if you're looking to bet total, maybe first half is a better idea, or at least as good of an idea. But you're right. Both teams play extremely fast. Long Beach State lose 5 in a row, then enter the conference tournament after their coach got fired and
Mhm.
proceed to win the entire tournament for their head coach. They're certainly not the better team. They weren't the better team all season long. I always go by the adage, Ski, that if what you do well, the other team does even better, then I really don't want any part of you. So I would think Arizona is the team that does it better. I think Arizona probably comes in here with a mission of we need to win a national title. At least that's the goal of every team. But I think especially in their case with Tommy Lloyd now in his third year and some failures along the way. So I'd probably lean Arizona minus the points here. 20. Long Beach will play inspired. I just don't know that they're good enough.
I can agree with that. And what about, you say you made, I feel like you said, like, save a little bit of energy as far as like the players they choose to play at the end of the game. So if you like Arizona, maybe take them in the first half here. And also, looks like Long Beach State's not very good closing out possessions, not a good defensive rebounding team. And Arizona, very good on the offensive glass. What do you think about that first half, Arizona?
I'll add
Minus
this
12.
to it, Ski, really quick. This particular bracket is being played in Salt Lake in altitude. So knowing that you have to come back a couple of days later, if you are up, if Arizona is up big, I would think that's even more incentive to put a couple guys on the bench and not rate them run in the altitude for a full 40. So just keep that in mind where these regions are all being played. This one in particular, I think, lends itself to big favorites if they're up huge late, probably going to the bench knowing they're coming back Saturday against an even better opponent in all likelihood.
All right, let's move over to another game here, Rob. I'm just gonna go in the order that these games go off. Um, and next up looks like Wagner and North Carolina. This game opened, my bad, opened up minus 23 and a half, up 2 points to 25 and a half for North Carolina, and total sitting around where it opened at 133 and a half. This one, I'm gonna kick it to you first here, Rob. Is this one where you're looking? I don't think you're looking at the big spread. I don't see you play too many of these big spreads. What are you thinking about with the total?
Yeah, and we can almost group these next two together, Ski, because I think the next one up time wise is going to be Stetson and UConn, or at least close in time wise. And you get these big favorites against these low major conference champions. Wagner is a slow paced team. They don't want to really move up the floor quickly. We got to see a little bit of them beside the conference tournament. We got to see them the other night in a play-in game, which they won. But the other side is so much better. I don't want to lay a big number. I thought in the beginning maybe I'll play UNC Wagner over the total because it was so low, 133 and a half. This one isn't being played in altitude. It's here on the eastern seaboard in Charlotte. You're going to get an excessive amount of North Carolina fans, everything in their favor here. Just don't know if at the end all their guys are still in the game and a 25 and a half becomes too large. So probably say some of the same exact things about UConn, but these teams, it's hard to play in first half too, Skee, because you don't know the interest level. And maybe it takes a first half wake-up call to make them play in the second half. So these games at this price tag are very, very difficult. The only way I did look at it was over, decided not to get there, but I couldn't argue anybody off of this game getting up to 134 and cashing a ticket.
And that other game you mentioned, they play tomorrow. But
Oh, okay.
I don't want to trust Wagner for an over. They play slow. They can't really shoot as far as numbers I'm looking at. They're not good shooting free throws either. Maybe North Carolina team total if you're looking for some kind of over. But I don't really trust the Wagner side, so I don't think that's one I'll get involved in. Let's move over. Next, I see you have me looking down the list. Like, did I skip a game today?
I was ahead of myself.
We'll go Oregon and South Carolina. This one opened as a pick 'em. You now see Oregon -2 and total up 1 point to 134. So another one where I'll let you open up this game. How do you view Oregon and South Carolina?
I'm of a differing opinion, Skee. I'll buck the line move here. A lot of love for Oregon off of that Pac-12 championship, Dana Altman and his first round record. I think that's being played excessively here. You hear a lot of folks and read a lot of folks who don't watch a lot of college basketball just quoting Dana Altman first round numbers. We got to back Oregon. So there's public money involved here. I don't know that the sharp money right off the bat moved this game much, but I'll say this. The SEC offenses are absolutely elite, and South Carolina's seen them all. They beat some, they got torched by some. But they're certainly well prepared for an Oregon team that didn't play good basketball whatsoever until they were backed into a corner in that tournament, and especially the final, where, I don't know, I still believe Colorado's the better team. Oregon just rode some emotion. But I'll step right in and take the underdog here, South Carolina. It's a above average. You could even classify them as better than above average on the defensive side. And again, they played offenses in that league that are absolutely elite. South Carolina's learned to score a little bit themselves along the way. I don't know that Oregon has that great of a matchup on the interior as maybe they did against Colorado. So for me, it's South Carolina. I played it myself. I took 1.5, so I didn't get the full 2, which it's just gone to now. But I just think the public's involved in a little bit of a love affair with Oregon. And I don't know that they're good enough to be being pushed like this from pick all the way to -2.
Okay. And then I'm looking at this game. I'm curious about the total. You have an Oregon team that's kind of middle of the pack in pace. South Carolina is gonna, they like to walk it up, it looks like, or play a little bit slower, take up the clock. If you're liking that South Carolina side, you think it'll be played at their pace. Looking at Oregon, right? You think it'll be played at their pace?
Yeah, I think Oregon went slow in the tournament too, so I think that they've made a little bit of an adjustment. So yes, I do think it'll be played at South Carolina's pace.
I don't like Oregon's perimeter defense really, as far as the numbers I'm looking at, but it doesn't look like South Carolina shoots a whole lot of threes, and neither team is good shooting free throws either. This looks like an under game. Can you talk me off under 134?
Now, not unless it got into some kind of foul fest at the end. Skee probably couldn't. I think South Carolina would prefer to play this in the 130 range, 66, 63, somewhere in that vicinity, which is under your total here. So to ask both to get to 67 might be a little much.
All right, I like it. I'm gonna mark that one down. I don't have my short list in the place it needs to be, but let's go ahead and get that. Oregon under 134. I think I can maybe get to the window there. Good stuff on that game. Let's keep moving. And next game up, got to keep an eye on the time too. Nevada and Dayton. For this one, Nevada open -1 hasn't moved. Total has dropped 1 point to 136.5. I got to kick it to you once again here, Rob. I don't think I've seen Dayton play. So it's a short number. Who do you think gets away with this one?
Well, they're both really, really good, Skee. I think I go to conference affiliation for this play. I like Nevada. They came through the Mountain West. Dayton in the Atlantic 10, which was not a real good conference this year. We see VCU and St. Joe's teams that were in that conference in the NIT, which is a good conference. But the only team that we have that made it here along with Dayton is Duquesne, who won the tournament. And actually, I think at halftime, Duquesne leads BYU right now. Maybe BYU caught a little bit off guard. Duquesne 38 points in the first half.
Yeah, they look scared to start the game or nervous.
A little bit nervous, and Duquesne doesn't shoot it that well to score 38.5. So maybe that thing turns around. But every game being individual, each team has a star player. On the Nevada side, Blackshear, tremendous. On the other side, Deron Holmes. Folks will get to know him today. I just think Nevada has more players, a little bit better defense. The head coaching matchup is nice too. Anthony Grant and Steve Alford. It's a nice head coaching matchup here. Can't favor one over the other. I just think that Nevada came through tougher circumstances, schedule-wise, opposition-wise, than Dayton did. And in what should be a little bit of a defensive struggle and a kind of slow tempo game, I think Nevada comes out on top.
Fair enough. I had another friend who I respect quite a bit. They like Nevada as well, so I will keep that in mind. We'll go over to Colorado State and Texas. Colorado State is a team. I think they have a really good point guard over there. I kind of get a couple of these teams mixed up, but I think it was or a guard at least. This game open. My bad. The odds screen is so all over the place. Opened up -3, hasn't really moved. Total hasn't really moved either. Looks like 143.5. I think Colorado State's been playing good lately. I think they can roll that into this game, kind of like how Duquesne is doing. How do you feel about it, Veno?
Well, I'll say this. They scored 67 the other night against Virginia, which is like scoring 85 against anybody else, just because of the way Virginia plays tempo and because of the way Virginia plays defense. And so Colorado State, and to your point, Skee, real quick, Isaiah Stevens, the guard for Colorado State, if Max Asmus wasn't on the floor for the other side, I would say Stevens is the best player on the floor. But Max Asmus, as we all know from his Oral Roberts days, has been in these tournaments quite a bit and made big shots in these tournaments. I like the over here. I thought it was, I don't know what the hesitation is for people not to play over 143.5. But again, when you see Colorado State, they're shooting, Skee. If you're looking at numbers, you're going to find that Colorado State's an excellent shooting team, 2-point, 3-point, effective field goal everywhere. Nico Medved has a really good shooting team. And Texas, for what it's worth, comes from a Big 12 conference, which is noted far more for defense than it is offense. And Texas ranked really low in the defensive efficiency numbers in Big 12 play this year. They give a lot of points to some bad offensive teams, but they do play offense. Texas can score, and they've scored lately. I think when I went through with Skee, 6 of their last 7 or 7 of their last 8, something very, very large, have gone over this particular number of 143.5. I think both teams' offenses probably win the day here. Remember, Colorado State won the other night, took the plane from Dayton to Charlotte. Maybe that's people's hesitation here to not want to get to over. But if I'm Texas, I want to play with some pace. And Colorado State is one of those teams. You don't find a ton of them, but you do find a handful that will play you whichever way you want to play. If you want to go up and down, they'll go up and down. They're capable. Like I say, they can shoot it. If you want to go half court, they'll go half court. Texas kind of prefers, at least down the final stretch of the season, to go a little faster with their shooters, with their athletes. So I think this game probably gets over 143.5.
All right. There's one that we skipped here, Rob.
Okay.
And it was brought to my attention from the chat. Morehead State in Illinois. Illinois has probably my favorite player. It's either going to be him or Shed. And I'm not betting against him. It just comes down to that. It is what it is. So can you talk me, a little bit more into Illinois besides Terrence Shannon Jr.? Is that enough?
Well, the world is on the other side, right? This game has been hit hard to the Morehead State side. This game has been hit hard to the under, which makes sense because Morehead State is a snail's pace team out of the Ohio Valley. There's no comparison between Ohio Valley basketball and Big Ten basketball, that's for sure. And there's no comparison in offensive capability between Morehead State and Illinois. I guess, what everybody's thinking here is that Morehead is going to control this entire game by walking the basketball, and Illinois is never going to get into a running style. The other thing you could say about Illinois, Skee, is that they haven't played a lick of defense in about 6 weeks. And so despite the fact that Morehead State isn't a great offensive team, if they can get the pace knocked down a couple notches, and there's ways to do that, and if they can knock down a couple of shots because Illinois doesn't pay a lot of attention on defense, then I could understand a Morehead State side here. I think the value's taken out of both, though. I mean, if you haven't bet Morehead State or under yet, I wouldn't be betting them now. I think now's the time for Illinois people to move in. You're getting the better side of the number here, and you're certainly getting the better side of the total. I don't know if I would press total just because if Illinois does get their way, Skee, this could be a real blowout. I didn't play the game either way because I like Illinois an awful lot, but Morehead State does have that contrast that sometimes bugs teams. Sometimes if you're a slow team, you can really bug a fast team, and we'll see if that happens here with Morehead State in Illinois.
All right, good stuff there, Rob. I want to ask you, we have maybe like 6 minutes, 5 minutes left. Is there, and I appreciate you, Tasha, she hit the like button for us. Is there, there's a lot of games left. Is there maybe one you prefer to talk about?
Well, I would say, and there's some close ones here. I'm going to say this, Skee. I'll go real quick with a couple. I'm not so sure that the love affair with NC State should continue. Texas Tech's a real good basketball team, but I didn't like the number. I wanted to lay less with Texas Tech. I think that number's somewhere in the 5.5 range. And North Carolina State maybe can sneak in under that. So I didn't get involved there. But another one where I think people are carried away with one side. I think I talked about this with South Carolina, right? I thought they were getting carried away with Oregon. I think they're getting carried away with Drake. I understand Drake. It's a good team. Head coach, DeVries, very, very good. The son is the best player on the team. He has been for 2 years. They're a team that was here last year. They're a very good team out of the Missouri Valley. But Washington State just gets disregarded. And I was talking to Teddy last week. I think I was on Wager Talk today. And he was saying to me that all the people he talks to in Las Vegas that, better handicappers thoroughly feel like Washington State's overrated. I don't know that I'm of that same opinion. I like their head coach, Kyle Smith. I think Washington State could be a good side. And then lastly, I'll close with this McNeese State game against Gonzaga. For those who don't know, and many of you do already, but McNeese State head coach Will Wade used to coach LSU until they got wiretapped by the FBI for doing some illegal things as far as paying players is concerned. And now he's brought McNeese State 31-3, I think 30-3, 31-3, something crazy like that, back into the tournament. And this is a guy who got thrown out of LSU kicking and screaming. They didn't get rid of him at first. They kept him, but then they had to. The pressure was too much. Kicking and screaming, nothing more than that he wants is to get back into the Power 5 conference picture as a head coach. I think McNeese State is going to come to play. I don't know that they can beat Gonzaga, but maybe plus points are worth a look there. So, or if you're in brackets are too late.
I think. Are you worried about their rebounding versus Gonzaga?
You have to be. You have to be. The 7.5 would be the catch. I'll say this, Skee. The end of this game that I did play was total over 149.5. There seems to be a real differing opinion here between what I would say are syndicate groups. One pushes it to the over, and as soon as it happens, the other comes back and takes under. So there's differing opinions here on this game. For me, real quick, I don't know that Gonzaga is as good defensively as they've been in the past. I don't know that they're trustworthy, and I don't think McNeese State has had the chance or the opportunity to really break out of conference and show other schools what they're capable of offensively. Athletically, they're really good. It's a team that he picked up out of the portal, took pieces out of the transfer portal, put them all together, and created what he's created. Their defensive numbers could be inflated just because of who they play in the Southland. They really don't play anybody. So I wouldn't take McNeese's defensive numbers truthfully, let's say. I think both teams can score. Gonzaga is known for pace. I like it over 149.5, and I do think McNeese State could stay under the number.
All right, good stuff, Veno. I know you got to get going very, very soon. So is there anything that you would like to promote and maybe a play you like a little bit more than the rest?
Let's say this first, wagertalk.com. That's the place to go to find all of my work and what you can get for free over at Wager Talk is all of the video content, all of the written content that's provided each and every day by a crew of, 30 of us handicappers over there. You can get it all for free just by dropping your email address, wagertalk.com. I do have a 5% play. First one of the college season, Skee, goes off tomorrow. Plays are up and available for the college tournament right now, so go ahead and check it out. My homepage at wagertalk.com. For benefit of the show and what we've talked about so far, I'd say my favorite play, Skee, honestly, is the Colorado State-Texas game over, 143.5. I just think you're going to get a lot of offense. You've got two really, really good shooting teams, a Texas team that was poor defensively for the most part in the Big 12, and a team that has played a ton of games as of late over this particular number of 143.5. So give me Colorado State, Texas up and over 143.5 is the best bet.
Good stuff from Rob. And for myself, I will go with the game that stood out the most that we were talking about, and that is Oregon, South Carolina under best number I see right now, 134. I'm not sure if I think that 134.5 is stale. So 134, best number you can get under will be my best bet for the day. Veno, always good talking to you. Good luck on all your action today, and see you again tomorrow. For you guys in the chat, always appreciate you guys tuning in. Show is absolutely nothing without you guys, like I always say. So best of luck to you guys as well, and we'll catch you guys later.